Okay, it's 3:32 p.m. on Thursday, August the 3rd, 2023. I'm calling this Caddo Parish Commission regular session meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, will you roll call?
We'll do a roll call. Commissioner Hopkins? Here. Commissioner Johnson? Here. Commissioner Jackson? Commissioner Young?
Here.
Commissioner Burrell? Commissioner Jones? Here. Commissioner Gage-Watts? Commissioner Cothran? Here. Commissioner Atkins? Here. Commissioner Chavez? Here, Commissioner Lazarus? Here. And Commissioner Epperson? Here. All right, you have 10 of 12 members present, and that does constitute a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gage-Watts, would you give us an invocation, please? And Commissioner Epperson, would you do the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Let's pray. God, how we thank you, Lord God, for this day that you have given us, oh God. Lord, we invoke your presence on this afternoon, God, and we thank you, Father God, for yet another opportunity to serve. God, we ask you, Father God, to bless all of the first responders, God. Look over those who watch over us even as we sleep, God. Lord, we thank you and we need you in everything that we do. Please help those who are bereaved, God, and please protect those who are working in these extreme heat warnings and environments, God. We trust that all is well even now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All please face the flag. I would ask that all military, active, and veterans would render the standard hand to brow salute. All others, right hand across your heart. And please remember our POWs and MIAs as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner Epperson.
Point of information relative to the situation with saluting the flag.
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you notice on your agenda, and as I stated, I would ask that all active military and veterans render the standard hand to brow salute. All others, right hand across your heart. This was a measure that was adopted by the American Legion in one of our national conventions some years ago. And the reason that we do this is we distinguish, and when we're in groups, to let people know, those that render the hand to brow salute, that those persons served in the military, they are currently serving, or they are military veterans. So that's the significance of that particular protocol that we use. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Okay, now we're on to agenda additions. We have one agenda addition listed on our agenda. Are there any others?
We have a number of agenda additions today. Actually, I believe there are.
Oh, I see two.
I believe the total is maybe 5.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, great.
Would you like me to just read all of them? They're all special resolutions, so you don't have any, complicated resolutions or anything on here. It's all special resolutions. So would you like me to read them all at once and you can open a public hearing for
Yes, please.
all of that?
Thank you.
Okay, the first item is a potential agenda addition, being a special resolution declaring Purple Heart Recognition Week and Purple Heart Day. The next item is a potential agenda addition that would be a special resolution commemorating the 50th anniversary of hip hop. The next item is a potential agenda addition that is a special resolution recognizing East Texas Gospel Day. The next item is a special resolution honoring Mary Louise Meloise Bell Moore. And the final item is a potential agenda addition, which is a special resolution honoring Ruby Elias.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Johnson. Oh, sorry. Let me open a public hearing. If anyone wishes to speak in favor or against adding these items to our agenda, please do so now. The public hearing is open. No one appears to be wishing to speak, so public hearing is closed.
Okay. Is there
So now I have a motion from Commissioner Johnson and a second from Commissioner Gage-Watts.
Yeah, I was gonna englobo all of the special resolutions to be adopted to the agenda.
Okay. Any further discussion? Let's vote.
All right, that motion passes with 10 in support, none in opposition, and 2 absent. That brings us to, I'm sorry, I got to readjust my agenda.
So these
Those
will
items
be in
will,
section 8 now, is that right?
yes, I'm sorry, those items, I was just going to mention, those items will be found all in section 8, and those will become 8.6 through 8.10.
Okay, so now I have citizens' comments.
Citizens' comments. Citizens who'd wish to address the commission on any issue other than zoning are asked to fill out a comment card and submit those in the box to my left here. We have received one at this time. I'll deliver this to the chair, and I'm not aware of any other requests.
All right. Okay, Mr. Jeremy Taylor. Welcome, Mr. Taylor. Please state your name for the record and make your comment.
Jeremy Taylor, P.O. Box 8453, 347. My name is Jeremy Taylor, and I'm happy to be here today. I'm a young entrepreneur looking to add to the development taking place just outside of downtown Lamar. I have done my due diligence and followed the process this commission established and approved. I want to see better in our community, and I'm willing to take the personal and financial risk if it helps to put property back into commerce. This is in regards to Wall Street. I reject any idea that this process is not fair. It's not fair to allow out-of-town landlords to hold properties hostage with no real intent to develop. In this absence, I would like to thank Commissioner Jackson for giving developers an incentive and another tool in the toolbox. Thank you, Commissioners, Mr. Burrell, Mr. Chavez, and Mr. Atkins, for your comments and understanding the risk.
Mr. Taylor, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Our chamber right now is experiencing some AV issues, and the speaker at your station, I think it may have been turned off during your comments.
There we go.
I was able to hear them, but just for the record, if you wouldn't mind restating, would the commission mind if he restates that for the record? It just didn't get recorded.
It wasn't
Okay.
recorded.
Good.
Okay.
Point of order, do you need that information for your records?
I have his information on the card, and I think that it was loud enough that it was picked up ambiently, but I just want to make sure. So,
So I would just make a suggestion that just allow him to.
Start his
Start
comment over?
over.
Okay, please start your comment over so that it can be recorded. Thank you.
It's no problem. My name is Jeremy Taylor, and I'm happy to be here today. I'm a young entrepreneur looking to add to the development taking place just outside of downtown on Marshall Street. I have done my due diligence and followed the process this commission has established and approved. I want to see better in our community, and I am willing to take the personal and financial risk if it helps to put property back into commerce. I reject any idea that this process is not fair. It's not fair to allow out-of-town landlords to hold properties hostage with no real intent to develop them. In his absence, I would like to thank Commissioner Jackson for giving developers an incentive and another tool in the toolbox. I would like to thank Commissioners Mr. Burrell, Mr. Chavez, and Mr. Atkins for your comments on Monday and understanding the risk that I'm taking. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. We can't ask or answer questions at this time, but we all appreciate your comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Jones, you're on the board.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and move up items 20.1, 8.3, and 8.4 in that order.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and take those 3 items in that order, starting with 20.1. Should we vote? Or can we do that by acclamation? Any objection? Okay, so that passed by acclamation. We'll suspend the rules now and do item 20.1.
So that brings us to 8.3.
20.1
Start
comes
with 20.1
first.
if we
That's
can.
Juvenile Services
I'm
Director.
sorry, 20.1. I apologize.
Okay, well, the chair will move to confirm, oh, I see. Commissioner Johnson has already made a motion. Commissioner Johnson.
On the confirmation of Mr. Andrew Randall, I think Mr. Randall is highly qualified to do the job. He has been a lawyer in the past. He knows the law. That's what we need in the juvenile justice area, someone who knows the law, who will follow in the law, who can interpret the law. That position is very important because with juveniles, you have to you have to dot all your I's and cross all your T's to make sure that we don't get out of compliance with the state. I think he's also worked up a good relationship with the employees that's over in that juvenile justice area as well. And since his time, his demeanor is what we need, someone that's not hot-headed, but someone who's level-headed and will listen. And I think he would be a perfect appointment for this position.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to concur with Commissioner Johnson's recommendation that we confirm Andrew Randall for the role of Director of Juvenile Services. He has the relationships, the knowledge, the experience, and the education to do a wonderful job in this position, and he certainly earned the right through his past activities to have a shot at it. So I support Mr. Randall's confirmation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Cothran.
I've known Mr. Randall for a very short time, but the one thing I've observed about him, in order to be a leader, you must be able to follow. And he's done that very well behind the previous director of the juvenile court system. And the thing is, again, upon my immediate selection to this board, he was one of the first to walk me through and talk me through the juvenile justice system. And I have no problem and have no question that he will be very successful in the appointment to this confirmation to this position.
Thank you, Commissioner Cothran. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, I would ask all the ones that's in the juvenile justice department to please stand, and the ones that are here in favor of this confirmation to please stand.
Oh, yes, I see.
So basically that
Welcome,
tells.
Dr. Gorey.
Yeah, I do see Dr. Gorey back there. So that tells you that the public supports this. And I see the DA, he decided to stand up.
Welcome, Judge Stewart.
So that tells you that the public also recommends this confirmation as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. I think we're ready to vote now.
That motion carries with 10 in support, none in opposition, and 2 absent. So
Let's all clap
congratulations.
first. Welcome and congratulations, Mr. Randall.
Thank you. Thank you. Certainly praise God from whom all blessings flow. It is my esteemed honor and privilege to be here today, and I thank the commission for its confidence and support and the opportunity that's before us to serve our citizens in juvenile service. I want to thank our administrator, Ms. Bryant, for her confidence in me as well, and certainly to Assistant Administrator Clay Walker, who gave me the opportunity to serve as his assistant director at Juvenile Services, in whom I have found to not only be a colleague and a friend, but a brother indeed. And so I am grateful for the foundation that he has laid, and I'm honored to follow in his footsteps. Similarly, I would also acknowledge Pastor Edwin Scott and Ms. Muriel Burns, who were the predecessors to Mr. Walker in that position and are here present today, who've served as mentors and supporters of mine. as well. Many of you, I know even beyond this oval and circle, and I appreciate your friendship, mentoring, and support. And so I want to say thank you. Of course, my family is here as well. I want to say thank you to my incredible wife who is here with us in support, and then all my family. If I start saying names, I'm getting in trouble, but thank all of them for coming and being here. Friends as well, some of my best friends are here. My godson, one of them is here as well, and I'm happy to have their support. There are community leaders, of course, that are here as well, that demonstrate literally what our agenda and purpose is in terms of being public servants. And so I'm grateful for those partnerships reflected in Ms. Irma Rogers, MLK CDC. Of course, although he hesitantly stood up, I am grateful and eternally grateful for the mentorship and friendship of our district attorney, James Stewart, who gave me my first job and opportunity here and has served as counsel and corrector and friend of all of my professional life. And so I'm grateful to him. Also, we're talking about children and what would that be without our schools. And so I'm grateful for Dr. Lamar Goree, my friend who is here as well, to lend his support. And to the 85 employees that make up juvenile services, some of which are represented here today. I am honored for their support. I am humbled by the opportunity to serve alongside them and all of the constituencies that make up juvenile services, and even the juvenile court judges whom we walk alongside to serve the needs of our citizens. I can confidently say that the future of our parish is bright, that our children and families are in good hands because of the people who lay it on the line every day to make their lives better. And even for those who've gone astray, we are here to help redirect that path and wrap our arms around them as the village that we should be in order to make Caddo Parish a great place to live. And so, with that being said, I don't take this opportunity or this season lightly. 7 years ago, I ran for the office of a juvenile court judge, and while I was unsuccessful in that particular endeavor, the night that I gave the concession speech, one of the things that I said was, well, it just wasn't my turn, but it's still my time. And in doing that for the 7 years and prior to that, continued to serve children and families, continued to bring hope for our children and hope for our future. And that's what I will continue to do as the director of juvenile services. On a personal note, I come from a long line of persons who give voice to the voiceless. My grandmother, Thelma Humphrey, who just passed, was one of the named plaintiffs in the Harrelson landfill case, in which the citizens of the MLK area fought back against what was environmental pollution. That's the stock I come from. That's what I do. And that's what we are going to do in service to our children and families. So thank you for your support. Thank you for this honor, and we'll do our best.
Thank you, and congratulations, Director Randall.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry? Oh, Commissioner Cawthorn wants you to ask your wife to stand as well, so we can.
LaToya Randall.
Thank you. You have a great challenge and a great task ahead of you. We're all hoping for the best for you, and the entirety of Caddo Parish wishes you great success in your vital role.
Thank you, sir. Merci.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, I believe now we're on to some special resolutions.
Yes, I believe 8.3 was the next one. Is that correct, Commissioner Jones? Okay, that's what I heard. And that item is a special resolution of recognition. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that is correct. A special resolution of recognition to the Shreveport Dixie League 6 and under team All-Stars team recognizing the Shreveport Dixie League's 6 and under All-Star team for their second place finish at the 2023 Dixie World Series.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Cawthron, second by Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Cawthron? Okay, Commissioner Jones, should we go ahead and vote on this?
What's that?
Do you want to vote on this first, or read it out first?
Would you
Vote on it.
prefer to vote, would you, sure, and we could even, if someone would like to in globo, you could do both of them now, and then we
Okay,
could
so-
present both?
Both of them, and
All right, I'll move to englobo these two special resolutions and
Okay.
approve them. Okay,
you put me as a yes, Ms. London?
can we,
Just put me
can we
down
vote
as
on
a
this
yes.
by acclamation? Everyone agree? Okay, those both passed by acclamation.
Okay. So would you like me to begin reading this first one? Okay, this is a special resolution of recognition to the Shreveport American 6 and under All-Star Team. And it reads, whereas the Caddo Parish
stand,
Commission
everyone.
desires to give appropriate recognition to those young people of Caddo Parish who by their extraordinary achievements have distinguished themselves in ways that reflect favorably and positively upon themselves, their families, and all citizens of this parish. And whereas on July 20th to 23rd in Center, Texas, the Shreveport American League 6 and under All-Star team took their skills to the road and competed in the 2023 Dixie World Series, where they brought home the 2023 Dixie World Series 6 and under runner-up title. And whereas these young men have enjoyed much athletic success on the diamond, but this program is more than athletics. It has given these young people an opportunity to hone their performance skills and instill community involvement. 2023's team roster includes Jet Brooks, Trip Bray, Sidney Guignard, Lawson Leonard, Sawyer Sanders, Caden Payne, Jack Myers, Caden Washington, Sawyer Bailey, Forrest Prudhomme, and Colby Smith. And whereas Coach Daniel Myers, Coach Colton Sanders, Coach J.R. Brooks, Coach Cameron Leonard has worked with this team to build skilled athletes and future leaders who understand the importance of determination, hard work, loyalty, service, and teamwork. Now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission, meeting in legal and regular session, that it is hereby declare Friday, August 4th, 2023, as Shreveport American League 6 and under All-Star Team Day in Caddo Parish, and it does heartily commend and congratulate the coaches and team members of the Shreveport American League 6 and under All-Star Team for their success and for the pride and honor they brought to their families and their parish. Be it further resolved that this commission does wish for much continued success to the Shreveport American League 6 and under All-Star Team, and that they will continue to dream, to aspire, to strive, to achieve, and to excel as they face challenges and opportunities that their lives will present. Signed, the Caddo Parish Commission.
I'm Daniel Myers. I was the head coach of the team. Just want to thank you all for recognizing these young men. They worked hard, man, every day this summer. It was a long summer. It was a hot summer, but they came out and put the work in and did very well in the World Series. So we're all very, very proud of them. So thank you all for recognizing them.
Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Ready? On three.
Smart.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, next
All
one.
right, we'll proceed with the next recognition. This is a special resolution of recognition for the Shreveport American 7 under All-Star Team. I mean, look at this community having two great teams. It's going to sound a little bit familiar, but even better. Okay, it reads, whereas the Caddo Parish Commission desires to give appropriate recognition to those young people of Caddo Parish who by their extraordinary achievements have distinguished themselves in ways that reflect favorably and positively upon themselves, their families, and all citizens of Caddo Parish. And whereas on July 23rd in Center, Texas, the Shreveport American League 7 under All-Star Team took their skills on the road and competed in the 2023 Dixie World Series, where they brought home the 2023 Dixie World Series championship title. Whereas these young men have enjoyed much athletic success on the diamond, but this program instills more than athletics. It's given those young men an opportunity to hone their performance skills and practice community involvement. 2023's team roster includes Micah Burney, Chandler Bryant, Tanner Bray, Landon Josting, Miles Googe, Landon Jones, Boone Spawn, Anderson Hall, Connor Jett, Cameron Huff, and Easton Riggs. And whereas Coach Taylor Bray, Coach Josh Burney, Coach Jalen Bowers, Coach Lance Jones, and Coach Cade Josting have worked with this team to help mold these young men into skilled athletes and future leaders who understand the importance of determination, hard work, loyalty, service, and teamwork. Now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission meeting in legal and regular session that it does hereby declare Saturday, August 5th, 2023 as Shreveport American League 7 and under All-Star Team Day in Caddo Parish. And it does heartily commend and congratulate the coaches and team members of the Shreveport American League 7 under All-Star Team as their success, for their success and for the pride and honor they brought to their families and their parish. Be it further resolved that this commission does wish for much continued success to the members of the Shreveport American League 7 under All-Star Team, that they will continue to dream, to aspire, strive, achieve, and excel as they face the challenges and opportunities that their lives will present. Signed from the Caddo Parish Commission. Not very well.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it.
I'll just say very briefly, y'all know how I feel about the kids. And so I wanted them to know just how important what they've accomplished was to our community, going out and representing not just the city of Shreveport, but the state of Louisiana in the World Series. And so wanted to say congratulations to you all. Thank you for the coaches. Thanks, Ms. Brittany, for coordinating, making sure that the teams got here. This is really important that they know that they are loved by their government. So congratulations and thank y'all for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Commissioner Jones. I'll just add that this parish voted last year or earlier this year to fund the tournament grade Caddo Parish Youth Baseball Sports Complex at the YMCA BHP Billiton, and we hope that you'll all be playing and winning tournaments there too. Commissioner Hopkins, you're on the board.
Mr. Vice President, one more thing. For those who are still in the chamber, this team, the 7U team, went undefeated the entire season. So kudos to you all.
Way to go.
Both teams, and I want to tell you, your guys, the players, that they've worked real hard on their name, image, and likeness today, because they have played to the cameras all the way. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Hopkins. Do I have a motion to go back into regular order? Okay, does that pass by acclamation? Yes, okay. Mr.
Okay.
Clerk, next on our agenda.
That brings us back to visitors. I don't believe we have any scheduled visitors today, so I'll move forward to adopting regular session minutes as well as special session minutes. And you will find minutes from your July 6th regular session as well as minutes attached from your special sessions on July 14th and July 20th.
Okay, so I have a motion from Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Gage-Watts. Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Gage-Watts?
I move to englobo the regular session minutes, the special session minutes, the special session minutes also from July 20th, 2023.
Second by Commissioner Atkins. Any discussion? Let's vote.
Okay, it's just a moment. There we go. That motion carries with 10 in support, none in opposition, and 2 absent. That brings us now to special resolutions. Well, we've already adopted a couple of special resolutions today, but that does leave about 8 in this section. The first, would you like me to read them and take them up one by one, or just to start reading and?
Go ahead and start.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to englobo any of these? Okay. Commissioner Gage Watts. Okay, Commissioner Gage Watts moves to in globo and advance all of, and approve all of these. Should we have a vote? Do you want to read them all too? Could you
I
read
wanna
those
do
two?
the hip hop.
Okay,
'cause we
could
do
you
have
read those
people
three
here.
for us, please,
Sure.
Mr. Clerk?
They're all available for whatever, any others that you may want in the record. I mean, we'll put them all in the record, but if you want me to read any, just let me know those other than those three, and we'll be happy to. Did you want to vote first, or do you want me to read them?
Let's vote now, and then you can read them.
Okay. And that motion carries with 10 in support, none in opposition, and 2 absent. And I will start with the first one in order that they appear on the agenda, and that is a resolution of recognition commemorating the 75th anniversary of the desegregation of the U.S. military. And that one reads, whereas the Caddo Parish Commission recognizes the profound historical significance of the 75th anniversary of the desegregation of the United States military, and whereas on July 26, 1948, President Harry S. Truman issued Executive Order 9981, which marked a pivotal moment in the Civil Rights Movement by mandating the desegregation of the United States military, which was a courageous and transformative step towards promoting equality, justice, and diversity within our nation's institutions. And whereas countless African American men and women with unwavering dedication and patriotism have served our country with honor and distinction since the desegregation of the military, and we acknowledge the sacrifices made by African American service members who fought valiantly in defense of our nation while enduring the challenges and obstacles posed by segregation. And whereas the bravery and resilience of these service members have contributed significantly to our nation's strength, liberty, and prosperity. And whereas this 75th anniversary serves as a poignant reminder of the progress we have made towards a more inclusive and just society, and motivates us to continue striving for equality and social harmony. And whereas the Caddo Parish Commission acknowledges the need to honor and preserve the legacy of this milestone to inspire future generations to stand against discrimination and work towards a more unified and equitable nation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission on this day, August 3rd, 2023, commends and commemorates the 75th anniversary of the desegregation of the United States military and encourages all residents to reflect on the historical significance of this milestone and the progress made in advancing civil rights and equal opportunities for all. And be it further resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission calls upon all citizens to promote diversity, tolerance, and understanding, striving for a society free from discrimination in all of its forms. And be it further resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission supports educational initiatives to raise awareness about the history of desegregation, its impact on our society, and the importance of inclusivity and equality for a brighter future. And that is signed by the Caddo Parish Commission. And the next, I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, this is a historical event in American history. I don't know how many of you are familiar with participation of African Americans and other minorities in our military, even as it dates back to the Civil War. However, in today's Army, 21% of the active duty Army is African American, 15% of the Army National Guard, 21% of the Army Reserve. And if you would read your history, there was a time, even after segregation in World War II, the American soldiers, some of them would not fight with the African American soldiers in France. The French Army was the first ones to fight with African Americans in combat. And if you notice, a lot of time when you look at different events from France, sporting events, you'll see how many multiracial individuals that there are in there, because some of our soldiers decided to get out because they were treated better in those foreign countries and live there. However, I would suggest in this day and age where we have so much contentions about teaching proper history and what they call it, what is diversity training. You look at the situation in Washington, D.C. now, where the the promotion of our flag officers has been held up, which we have a resolution on the table today because of things of that nature. And I would highly recommend the persons in this audience today, as well as my colleagues on this dais, to read a book called The Double V, THEDOUBLE-V. Read that book, please. Let your young teenagers and your high schools and your college read this book. It is so important that we don't have division and contentiousness with our military service. Because were it not for June the 14th, 1775, with the Continental Army under General George Washington, we would not be enjoying what we do today. Nobody would be here trying to preach against banning books, or against another race, or trying to change the way that history is taught. This is very important. And I will have this frame and I'll hang it in the foyer of the Overton Brooks VA Medical Center. What better place for it to sit? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Will you go ahead, Mr. Clerk, with the next?
Okay, the next item is a resolution proclaiming Purple Heart Day and Purple Heart Recognition Week in Caddo Parish. And it reads, whereas the Purple Heart Medal, an American decoration that is awarded in the name of the President of the United States, is the oldest military decoration in the world in present use. And whereas the Purple Heart was established by General George Washington at Newburgh, New York on August 7th, 1782, during the Revolutionary War as an incentive to the Continental Army. And whereas the Purple Heart is awarded directly or posthumously to members of the armed forces who are wounded or die from wounds received in armed conflict with an enemy force, or while held by an enemy force as a prisoner of war, or are wounded or killed as a result of friendly fire or as otherwise designated by the President of the United States. And whereas August 7th, 2023 marks the 241st anniversary of the inception of the Purple Heart Award and the 91st anniversary of the Military Order of the Purple Heart. And whereas the sacrifices on behalf of our Louisiana Purple Heart recipients will forever be an inspiration to all Louisiana citizens. And whereas Caddo Parish endeavors to honor our Purple Heart recipients and their contributions to the nation and extends a special thanks to our local recipients for what they mean to our community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission meeting in legal and regular session convened during the month of August that it does hereby declare and proclaim the week of August 5th to August 13th as Purple Heart Recognition Week in Caddo Parish, and within this week we place special importance on and declare Monday, August 7th, to be Purple Heart Recipient Day in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, calling upon all citizens to solemnly reflect upon the events of this day and to join in the recognition, supporting, appreciating, and expression of honor towards the individuals and institutions that continue to make this country safe and free and good, and to protect and preserve our way of life. And that's signed by the Caddo Parish Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Commissioner Epperson.
What other resolution could follow what I initially read on the 75th anniversary of the integration of our military services? This too will be hanged in the foyer of the Overton Brooks VA Medical Center. And I would urge each and every one of you that's on this dais and the one that's in the audience and those that are listening via social media, go to Overton Brooks VA Medical Center and sit out in the lobby. And if you was to take my blood, Mr. Chavez' blood, Mr. Atkins' blood, put it on a piece of white paper, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Okay, Mr. Clerk, next.
The remaining resolution is a proclamation recognizing the history of, or the anniversary of hip hop. And this actually commemorates a few different days. So I will start with, it reads, whereas hip hop is an original artistic and cultural creation of the United States celebrating its 50th anniversary, and it has become one of the most popular genres of music within the United States. And whereas on August 11th, 1973, Clive DJ Cool Herc Campbell introduced his innovative style of disc jockeying at an event organized by his sister, Cindy Campbell, called Back to School Jam, which was held in the recreations room of 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx, New York. Whereas together, Clive, DJ Cool Herc Campbell, and the Master of Ceremonies engaged the crowd with rap on the microphone, while partygoers known as B-boys and B-girls danced and introduced a new style, later known as hip-hop, which combined elements of a disc jockey, commonly known as a DJ, a Master of Ceremonies, commonly known as an MC, along with music, art, and dance. And whereas from the humble beginnings of hip-hop in New York City, the music, lyricism, dance, and art of hip-hop has become a cultural foundation in communities across the United States and has long been a worldwide phenomenon. Whereas hip-hop has had notable Southern influences following its Northern inception, such as jazz and bounce from Louisiana, the blues from Mississippi, and country from the South, and these influences, along with other celebrated genres of music such as disco, gospel, soul, rock and roll, and indigenous music from across the United States, have all helped hip-hop transcend boundaries and contributed significant intellectual heritage and regional influence to the creation and progression of hip-hop over the last half century. And whereas the hip-hop genre has been reinvented often since 1973, reflecting regional interpretations of the music from G-funk and hi-fi on the West Coast to bass and trap in the South, to drill in the Midwest, and to many other sounds from coast to coast and from abroad, including contemporary hip-hop, which continues that trend by allowing listeners not only to unwind and escape through a rhythmic beat, but also to resonate and empathize with the stories being told. And whereas local hip-hop has created many local businesses, artists, and DJs, which include Jabbo Productions, Lava House Records, Head Turner Evolution, Whatever Entertainment, Loose Cruise Camp, Brick Baby Music Group, Black Nation, Soldier Rock Entertainment, Sugar Shack Records, Five Entertainment, And What Entertainment, Bose City Records, Block Boy Entertainment, Go Live Entertainment, Payroll Records, Ben Up Records, Throwed Thankin' Entertainment, Money Hungry Records, SBE, Swamp Water Records, Big Guy Entertainment, Southern Made, Robin Blind, Amore, Brick South, Off the Block Records, Self-Made Entertainment, B-Town Entertainment, The Money Train, Tommy Graham Productions, Like O Productions, and Timeless Soldier Productions. And whereas hip-hop artists and supporters, originally of African heritage, now transcend many different ages, ethnicities, religions, locations, political affiliations, and socioeconomic statuses, which demonstrates the versatility and inclusivity of hip-hop and its culture. And whereas hip-hop as a multidimensional art form and lifestyle continues to produce new subgenres of music and stylistic lexicons and promotes new cultural imprints, trends, and movements that reverberate across the United States and around the globe. And whereas hip-hop has provided opportunities for extracurricular activities, youth empowerment, creative outlets, physical fitness, vocabulary exercises, poetry, analytical thinking, entertainment, employment, and economic impact that has become an industry that generates more than $1 billion annually. And whereas hip-hop, art, education, and culture have positive effects on society. Whereas on August 11th, 2023, the federal government, states, cities, and towns will observe Hip Hop Celebration Day. And during 2023, the federal government, states, cities, and towns will observe Hip Hop Recognition Month in August and Hip Hop History Month in November. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission recognizes the 50th anniversary of hip-hop and designates August 11th, 2023 as Hip-Hop Celebration Day in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, as well as designating August 2023 as Hip-Hop Recognition Month in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, and designating November 2023 as Hip-Hop History Month in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, and urges all citizens to join with the parish in recognition of these important celebrations.
This is something that the Congress, through bipartisanship, passed, and I wanted to make sure that Caddo Parish was also a part of that. This is a movement that's going around the United States, something that was born in the United States, wasn't originated anywhere else but in the United States. And as it has evolved, it has gotten bigger and bigger. Mention this $1 billion industry right now. And you listen to all the names of the different production companies and entertainment groups that are here, this is a lot that we have going on in Shreveport and Caddo Parish that people don't realize. These individuals make a lot of the records. Some of them are being sold out of the back of their trunk. Some of them being sold online. But they sell them by any means necessary for them to get them out so that people can hear their message. And in each one of these songs, there is a message. There always is a message. It's either about how they have lived, what they have seen, or what they're doing. And just wanted to make sure that Caddo was a part of this movement on the front end and not on the back end. We do have some representatives. One is from the Soul Food Festival that will be coming up that will also be highlighting hip hop, and a couple of the entertainers, promoters that we have locally. Y'all want to say something?
I want to say thank you. Like LBJ said, this I Am Hip Hop is a movement. I fell in love with hip hop at the age of 8, 9 years old when my brother Zachary Carter, who was the firstborn son of Pastor Eddie Giles, put a keyboard in my hand. Hip hop is a tool that our elders used for our community to unite. And that's what we are planning on doing, using I Am Hip Hop so our city can unite, not only in Shreveport, but in the state of Louisiana, because we understand that gun violence is taking over. So our goal is to try to reprogram our people, because who's gonna reprogram them better than us? So thank y'all, and thank you, Storm, and thank you, LBJ, for recognizing I Am Hip Hop.
Sure. Yes. Thank you. Of course, President Lyndon and I were talking. He's always my president, but we were talking about hip hop one day, and I didn't realize my husband turned 50 this year, and it did not seem like it was that long ago when hip hop started. So I grew up hip hop, right? And I even sung on a hook, okay, with ADIC. So that was back in the 90s, and guess what? I was an aspiring rapper. Can y'all imagine that? And my name was Sweet G, so I just had to give you some history about that. But it was very important for us to raise the awareness for Caddo Parish, why we celebrate it, because there was one thing that you did not mention, President, and that was the word overcome. Because so many of our rappers rap about what they have overcome. Thank you.
Thank y'all for passing that resolution. I just want to speak. I spoke to the mayor before he got elected, dealing with, I know Shreveport is the 3rd largest city in Louisiana, and we follow Baton Rouge and New Orleans. And I know that they actually got a pretty big music culture, you know, in those cities. But us being the 3rd largest city, most of the record labels that he mentioned are actually out of business, because we don't have any funding, we don't have any support, we don't have any venues that, you know, the city's not pretty much, it's pretty much, the industry is not really supporting, you know, the artists that's here. So, you know, I just want to put that on you guys' mind. I'm not here to talk down on anybody or point any fingers. I just want you guys to recognize that we could use some support. Thank you.
Turn around and we're gonna take a picture.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners Johnson and Gage Watts. Commissioner Jones, you're on the board.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to hear that hook that Stormy said she was singing on. So maybe we'll get that at the next meeting or something. I don't know. She's run out the door.
Maybe under communiques. And now we come to communiques. Commissioner Epperson.
The ad hoc public safety committee met yesterday, set at 5:30 p.m. Had a very good and informative meeting. Basically, it was a listening meeting. We had a number of presenters that participated in the after effects of the storm of June 16th and the subsequent storm about a month later, the windstorm that came through. We had some citizens come down and express their opinions during the public comment section. Basically, what we learned yesterday is that there is a need for factual information. And that's exactly what this meeting set out to do. We were here yesterday to point fingers, to point blame. We was here to listen, get information. I've also scheduled a subsequent meeting on August the 14th at 2:00 p.m. What we will do is we will analyze the things that we've gleaned from the meeting of yesterday, and we will move forward to see what we can do to improve and make pandemic and storm responses even better in the future. We know that oftentimes of course, we've done this for a number of years, but oftentimes you have the same people, the same process, and you get the same results over and over. So what we're looking for is we're looking for more information from the public, making sure that we have a good factual understanding as to what their responsibilities are and seeing what we can do to improve on this in the future. We all know the situation that we are in the chamber here. If it's not the air conditioning out, it's the elevators that's been out. The roof is leaking. The audio system's not working. The video system's not working. There's a conflict with who is going to meet when and where. And I've been here, it's going on my 26th year. Started out on the 4th floor of the courthouse, and now we are where we are now. And it appears as though we have some growing pains. And let us reflect back on the amount of funding that we have expended to a number of organizations to do things. And the amount of money that we have spent on repairing the elevators, the roof, new air conditioning system, leaks, other things. We could have had us a brand new autonomous facility on behalf of the citizens of Caddo Parish. I think I heard where they got rid of, I think, a portion of the Chase Bank over there and the parking lot for $1 million. $1 million. Just think if we could have gotten that. Finance director, I bet if you go back and look at what we've expended for other organizations, where we've done patching and repairing and conflicts, it'll be a lot more than that. And I think our citizens deserve better. I think we need to seriously look at getting a place of our own and stop putting new money into something that's dead and old, and that's not going to be in the best interest of our citizens. Also, I wanted to I think Commissioner Chavez brought it up yesterday, and this has been an issue with me for a while. We have been out-communicated. Everything I hear is about the city or somebody else. There are so many things that we do, so many things, but we have been out-communicated. We get a 15 or 30-second blurb on the news, but it never really tells the story as to who we are, what our responsibilities are, what we are doing. Now, I don't know how many of you watch your local antenna channels. These are channels that basically all of the citizens are going to have. Even if you have the direct TV, you're going to have the regular channels you can pick up through antenna, because I think it's a must that they put local channels on. And I look at like KXP 21, KSHV, KMSS 33, all those cable channels. All day long they have Viagra, prostate medicine, windows and shutters, over and over. So that tells me that that time is pretty reasonable. I think that we need to look at getting a reasonable amount of time in those type channels where we can articulate what Caddo Parish is doing on behalf of the citizens. And I think we will reach the audience that we need to reach. So I would ask that we seriously look at that. Also, you know, we had the announcement, what is SLB, that's going to be located in the Free Park Business Center, the old General Motors plant. 600 new jobs. I forget the amount of money that it's expending. However, at this point in time, I believe we have recouped what we lost when General Motors left. I think we've recouped those jobs and then some. And just my estimation, I put a factor of 3. So if we got over 1,000 jobs out there now, and put 3 on it in collateral, we're looking at 4,000 jobs, I think, at a minimum, and I think that's conservative. And I heard some comments about, we just asked for the simple deal that if you have an organization or an entity or a business that's located in Caddo Parish, that we would do the job fairs in Caddo Parish, which is nothing hard to ask. We're giving them tax abatements. I think with SLB, Madam Administrator, correct me if I'm wrong, are we doing $1 million stipend for 3 years?
Yes, sir.
$1 million, ladies and gentlemen, for 3 years to help that venture. And is that asking too much to have them to hold a job fair in Caddo Parish? And also the Prolec GE plant, 38.5 million, 153 jobs. I think they held a job fair in Bossier. Was that asking too much to ask them to hold the job fair in Caddo, where we're giving them the tax abatements? We met with them even during the pandemic to help them get to where they are at this point in time. And then I hear somebody say it's politics. It was politics when we called that special meeting to give that $1 million a year for 3 years to them. It was politics when we have to vote those tax abatements to those facilities to come in. That's the taxpayers' money.
Commissioner Epperson, we're at the time limit.
Pardon?
We're at the time limit for that comment. If you wanted to.
Okay, may I have 2 more minutes? Okay, just want to bring these facts to you. We listen to these people that say different things, and then when it comes time to come to the table, everybody come out and they was a part of it and they were happy. But in 2013, when the person that was around this dais voted not to scrap that facility, we were hit pretty hard with a lot of negativity. But look where we are today. So I'm just asking that we be fair and let's not let people that really don't know what's going on and getting opinions, let us handle our business in a way that we are going to do the right thing on behalf of the citizens of Caddo Parish. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. I'll just point out that any facility that we acquired to have our meetings in would also eventually take maintenance as well, so we couldn't forget about those costs. Commissioner Gage Watts, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're sharing the mic. First of all, I wanted to say, I wanted to place emphasis also on the public safety meeting yesterday, Mr. Ken, and I did mention this yesterday, but I wanted to also let the public know that it was very informative and a great debriefing on what went well, what didn't go well, and how we can improve our process. But I also really wanted to publicly acknowledge our administration team and the staff for their unwavering, swift response. You all did an amazing job of every request that I personally made on behalf of my constituents. So I just wanted to say thank you again for that. I got some questions asked yesterday from SWEPCO and some of the other entities that were presented. We only had about 2 minutes, so I didn't want to take all the time in talking, but I had an opportunity to speak with some of them after the event as well on yesterday. I also want to remind citizens that it's important, if you have not made those reports, we did get a report saying that we were not going to get the FEMA assistance. However, there's the SBA loans that will be coming down the pipeline soon. We need to make sure that we're reporting them, and I do know that you can report them through caddo.org. Am I right, Madam CEO? They can make those reports through that. The more accurate numbers that we receive, the more assistance that we qualify for. So make sure if it was minimal damage, if you lost food, whatever the situation is, maybe you blew a unit, speaking personally, from the power outages, whatever it is, just make sure that you report it. And I also wanted to talk about the plethora of calls that I've been receiving from those who are facing evictions or already have been evicted. I know that we talk a lot, personally, Commissioner Chavez and I, about homelessness. in our community. And we've been talking about this for about 8 years, but I think it's time for us to take a real good, hard look at some of these buildings that we have that are owned by Caddo Parish, or even making some investment in these hotels. Because I know that as many of these dwellings are inhabitable, if we close those dwellings, we're going to have an even larger homeless population. So that is a conversation that I expect to have within the next 2 weeks. And I also wanted to talk about the communication, the Everbridge system. We've mentioned that a lot. We do know that our citizens are not registering. You cannot receive the information if you're not registered to receive the information. It's a simple process. We are looking forward to traveling outside of Caddo and getting some more information about how other systems are ran in our state, so that we can get that information to our citizens in a timely manner. We know that internet access was completely out when the power outages were, but you still had maybe even slow access with your cell phone, with your data coverages. So it could save your life by being registered with Everbridge. So look forward to more information about that within the next couple of weeks as well. I will be leaving shortly. Bethune and Oak Park, the name merging is happening today, and this is a historical moment, especially for the community and those who were students at Bethune. So I will make sure that I'm there. It is in District 7, and I want to say congratulations to all of those who did a lot of hard work to make sure that this happens. But I will be leaving about 5 o'clock. So I wanted to make sure that I said that. Also, the last part is on Monday, there was an ordinance introduced about providing ACs for our citizens in Caddo Parish. We know that we have the most dangerous weather than we've ever had before. We went from global warming to global boiling. And these extreme heat conditions have created extensive ER visits, hospitalizations, and even deaths. So if there's something that we can do collectively to prevent that, this is our opportunity to do it, and it will be laying over. So if you're listening and you need an AC, you need to come down and talk for our next meeting. And lastly, Moortown Reunion is going to be Sunday, August 6th at Airport Park. I want to say thank you, Mr. Directly Wesley, and your team, Parks and Rec, for all of your help. Thank you, administration, for your support in this event. That's it, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gage-Watts. Commissioner Cawthron.
Very briefly, just to piggyback what Commissioner Gage-Watts was just talking about, I had written down here heat advisory. The thing is, again, is that we must be concerned about our neighbors, whoever they might be. Last night when my air conditioner went off, I felt it, okay? And I don't know how many hours it was off total, but the thing is, again, I know I had to get up and leave. So the thing is, I would share with each and every one of you all in the sound of my voice, please, please, please check on your neighbors. See what's going on, particularly when you have not seen them for a period of time that's determined by you. Let the fire department, let the police department, let somebody know if you're truly concerned about someone that you have not seen. And please also consider, with school starting very shortly, animal control, get in contact with them. Anytime that you call them, they are on the spot. And the thing is, again, with school starting, there are some loose animals in some neighborhoods. If you know that they are loose, please, please, please let animal control know prior to school starting. And the thing is, again, they could kind of come to those areas, because the last thing we need is any child, first day of school, being messed up by a pack of animals. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cawthron. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also want to follow up on the heat. If you looked at the news report the other day that came out, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, it said that the heat death in Caddo Parish is extremely high this year. They have 4 confirmed cases, and I think yesterday there was another case of a person dying in police custody that they said was heat related as well. So that's 5 people this year that have died from heat related issues. Also want to ask the administration, a while back we passed emergency funding for the Shreveport Police dealing with the 4th of July mass shooting. Have they utilized any of those funds yet?
No, sir, not yet. We have to coordinate a CEA between us and
We hadn't done it yet?
we have not. It is on the list to get done, but what you passed was for overtime. So,
Overtime, we're also bringing in outside agencies to assist. Both,
Yes, sir.
both, not just overtime, but also for them to bring in outside agencies to assist in that, because I also follow the news quite a bit, and I've noticed that there still are no suspects to have been arrested yet, but yet we've had some shootings downtown and after that, and they have been apprehended and in jail. And I know downtown has many cameras that's involved to help to solve those cases. But when you look at Instagram and Facebook and all the different social media that's out there, they're talking. And so it should be an easy shut case. But we got to get to the bottom of this, because as each day goes on, there are remnants of some violence that's going to go on behind that. I think just yesterday, someone got shot in the head. That's a statement. You know, a headshot is a statement. I don't know if you know, if you're from the street, you know that. If you're not from the street, you just got educated to know that that's a statement. And so we got to get control of this. I mean, because it's not just in the MLK area. It's done went through all different parts. I mean, you had Cedar Grove, you got Sunset, got Queensboro, Moortown. It's running rapid, and it's not going to stop.
yes, sir. We are working on the CEA in regards to the monies you all appropriated the commission, but we also have other initiatives that we are working on internally, that we are collaborating with the police in order to provide them some assistance. Some of that we can't.
Well, I know.
We
but-
are working on because we recognize and we've had communications with them. It's not just a matter of having additional officers, additional agencies. They need some other tools to address these issues. So we are communicating. So I just want you to understand, we're not just not doing anything. We are going to work on that CEA to provide those resources, but we also are looking at other resources as well.
Right, I know we're not sitting on our thumbs and not doing anything, but I just wanted to make sure that it is a priority. You know, I guess one of the bad things about being as a commission, we have no law enforcement that we can basically direct and have them do what we need them to do. And I think that's the only downside to this commission as the charter has been written. And I just want to make sure that, you know, it's progressing, and I want the public to know that it's progressing. And you just answered that question, because I don't want them to think that, okay, well, local government's not doing anything and it's just gonna keep going and going. I want to make sure that it is a priority with us, because we did do it as an emergency funding for them, and want to make sure that they're, you know, progressively trying to make sure that they get that case solved. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just following up on LBJ's inquiries regarding the cooperative endeavor agreement and other agencies. I think we've talked about Crime Stoppers and their role in helping to incentivize people to report crime. And I know they've had, their funding is tied to court fees, and so they're having funding issues just like everybody else who has funding tied to court fees. So I'll just lay that out there as something to consider. Maybe it's already being considered.
Yes, we're working on their CEA also.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Is that all for communiques?
We have administrations. We haven't given our.
Okay. Ms. Bryant, would you, oh, sorry. Okay, Commissioner Epperson.
Ms. Bryant, would you entertain allowing Chief Mitchell from Caddo Fire District 3 to come up and speak in reference to 18.3 and 18.4? He has some time constraints.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No problem.
Chief Mitchell? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Ernest Mitchell, 9081 Greenwood Road. Greenwood, we're asking to borrow, with the approval of the Bond Commission, $1 million and change to build a new fire station at the intersection of Buncombe and 169. We have the money in reserve to pay for the station, but we also have ordered an $800,000 fire truck and an ambulance and 2 grass trucks, and I don't want to bleed us dry without saving some reserve. So before we can go to the Bond Commission, we need the Commission's approval. Mr. Bowles is here, our bond attorney that's guiding us through this process. So I'll answer any questions. I have nothing further to say unless you have any questions of me.
I don't see any questions for you at the moment. Do you, Commissioner Epperson?
Chief Mitchell, is that satisfies the board? I think we had some requests Monday about it. Thank you, sir. We
Thank you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you, Chief.
And Mr. Bowles is here as well with their organization, if y'all had questions.
Mr. Bowles, would you like to comment, please?
Yes, Bill Bowles, Bowles Shafto, 1818 Avenue of America, Monroe, Louisiana. Our firm acts as bond counsel to the district, and the resolution before you is to approve the resolution that the district passed last week to go to the Bond Commission, seek approval for approximately $1.5 million in bonds. Red River Bank has already agreed to purchase these bonds. Project will be not to exceed about $2.5 million. And as the chief said, they have $1 million of their own money they're putting into this first, and then they'll borrow what's necessary up to $1.5 million. The parish has no responsibility for these bonds. This is a formality that we have to bring it to you in the resolution. So states that the parish has no responsibility. It's the obligation of the district. And then we're asking you to approve, just to bless this to go on to the Bond Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Bowles. You have a question. Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Bowles? Mr. Bowles, quick question for you. What kind of interest rate will the fire district be paying?
The rate is will be not to exceed, excuse me. I'm sorry, I don't have that in the resolution yet. It's in the resolution they passed, but I have the certified resolution, but it's not to exceed. I think it's 4%.
And do you remember the term on the loan?
Excuse me?
The term, what's the term on the bond?
10 years.
10 years?
Yes, sir.
And you've evaluated their income statement or the government equivalent of an income statement, and you're comfortable that they have the ability to service the debt appropriately without
Yes, they do.
without undue economic hardship?
No, they can pay this without any problem at all.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
why Red River Bank's already approved it.
Okay.
And the Bond Commission, we have government consultants as a municipal advisor. They've already worked up the numbers. They agree as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Johnson.
Yeah, one thing I thought about, you can sit down. It's
Thank
not
you,
about
Mr. Bowles.
One thing that I thought about was the upcoming election, and Sussler was a polling location. The gym that's gone now. It's down to the slab, so we need to make sure we got a new location at Sussler. And also, I requested, I think about a month or two ago, about the register of voters, that one of the precincts right off of Mansfield Road, he had it in House District 5, and it's actually in House District 4 with the new redistricting plan, that making sure that those people get new cards out.
Yes, sir. We'll follow up on
Okay, I'll be checking with you on that next week.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Administrator Bryant, would you like to continue your report?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Commissioners. Just want to notify you that SLB is hosting a job fair Tuesday, August 15th from 8 to 5 p.m. at the Shreveport Convention Center. I have forwarded the email that was sent to us that has the links with the information for that job fair. Also, you all requested update on malaria. We spoke with Dr. White and Mr. Samuel, and the closest case of malaria we have is one case in Cameron, Texas. There are 7 in Sarasota, Florida. These were specifically cases where persons were infected. There were local cases, not after having been traveling. There are no reported cases in Louisiana and none in Caddo Parish. Assistant Administrator Clay Walker will give you an update on broadband as requested on Monday.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. On the broadband plan, we spoke with Mr. Colvin from Comcast. We spoke with Mr. Moyer from Altice. The bottom line is that when there are 20 homes per mile, there is a financial incentive for the companies to build out the capacity themselves. So the majority of Caddo Parish is being built out by the companies. When you're down to 10 homes per mile, that must be subsidized by the state under the Gumbo program for it to make financial sense for the company. In that Gumbo program, Comcast was awarded 2,100 locations. That contract was signed in November of 2022 and must be completed by November of 2024. They've done the walkouts, they've done the design, they're finalizing the permits, and construction on those will start this September 2023. The areas that are going to be gaining that broadband access are going to be Gillum, Mooringsport, Oil City, Vivian, Rodessa, Ida, Belcher, and Blanchard. Optimum, or Altus, the other company, was awarded 469 locations. As they began their walkouts and their design, they came to realize actually that Comcast had already serviced those areas. So they are now returning back to the state and to the Gumbo program the money that they were awarded, and they're looking to see if there are other locations that are viable under Gumbo, meaning they have as few as 10 homes per mile. After Gumbo, the significant majority of the parish should have broadband access. What's going to be left are the most rural that have fewer than 10 homes per mile. There's a new federal program that's rolling out called BEAD, Broadband Equity Access Deployment. That's going to be rolling out next year. Louisiana was actually the first state awarded a planning grant. That planning grant was awarded in August of 2022. Louisiana received $2 million for BEAD and $942,000 specifically for digital equity planning. So the majority of the citizens do have broadband. Gumbo is adding to the kind of moderately rural when there's 10 homes per mile. Fewer than 10 is going to be under BEAD, and that will be rolling out next. Both of these gentlemen, Mr. Colvin and Mr. Moyer, I believe Mr. Colvin has come before you before to explain this. We're on track with his plan. Mr. Moyer is waiting to hear from Gumbo if Altice is going to get any other locations, but they're both willing to come and speak with you if need be.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Could you forward us each a written description of what you've just said so that we can have that document?
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
That concludes the administration report.
Thank you, Administrator Bryant. There is no president's report today. So now we move on to public hearing on zoning ordinances, but we don't have any zoning ordinances.
We don't
so
have any
need a public
scheduled today.
hearing.
We do have public hearing on ordinances. Would you like me to go ahead and read those items?
Go ahead, yes.
Could I speak to that matter?
Yes, Commissioner Atkins, you go first.
Mr. Clerk, Mr. President, if it if it pleases you and the rest of the body, I'd like to delay the reading of the public hearing on ordinance 6328, as well as the actual voting of 6328. If I could get a second, I'll explain why.
Second.
As many of you know, the Natural Resources Committee met on this issue, what was that, Monday? And there's still lots of work to be done. There's a complicated red line document that came back from industry, and we need to work through those issues. I think Commissioner Epperson had suggested that we delay to final vote on this would be during the week of September 5th, which it'd be discussed during the work session of September 5th and voted on September 7th. So I'd rely on the clerk to place it at the proper time for proper notification. But that's the reason why I'm requesting that we delay this matter. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Hopkins.
Yeah, my own question, will we go ahead and re-advertise the public hearing for the 5th?
We will, yeah, we'll need to.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to delay the public hearing and the substance of the public hearing till September 5th. And the vote. Let's vote.
And that motion carries with 10 in support, none in opposition, and 2 absent. So those items, both items concerning ordinance 6328, that is a public hearing, and the consideration of it are postponed until September 7th. And that being said, I believe the committee also made a recommendation to schedule a follow-up committee meeting as well. So I'll follow up with all 3 of those items.
That's on that meeting, the additional work session meeting of the committee is on August 14th.
Yes. We've had a few requests for that date, so I'll need to get a time specific from you, but we'll work towards it.
Targeting 1:30 on the 14th, but we can make it official.
Okay.
12.2.
12.2 is a public hearing for ordinance number 6342 of 2023. That's an ordinance to establish and merge precincts consistent with the 2023 Caddo Parish Commission districts in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statutes 18.532 and 18.532.1 to amend certain precinct legal descriptions.
Okay, public hearing on this ordinance is now open. If you wish to speak for or against it, please come forward. Clerk Spence, do you want to comment on this at all? I don't know. I knew you were here for something related to this. Mr. Floyd, if you'd like to comment on this, this is the time.
Turn on the screen.
We don't have a screen projector right now. The audiovisual system has crashed, so
Okay, no problem at all. Okay.
But the map that you're displaying next to you is displayed on the screen for viewers of the streaming. And could our camera operators try to zoom in on the map? It looks like they're trying to.
Good evening. Jeff is going to make copies of what you need to look at for the presentation.
Would you like to start speaking, and then we'll get the copies as you're going?
Okay, good. Good evening, Ms. Bryant, and Commissioners, Cedric Floyd, President of Data Center LLC, and my wife, Rose. The 2023 precinct merger plan is being considered by the Commission today. First, there's no change to the redistricting plan that you adopted on February 23rd. The new voter registration stats, stats for the new plan is on the Secretary of State website that you could go to, and that's your plan that you adopted, those stats. After working with Caddo Parish election officials, Mr. Mike Spence, clerk according to staff, Mr. Dale Sibley, registered voters and his staff, this ordinance was designed and created. The big picture, which Jeff is making a copy of, this precinct merger will facilitate voting and also save you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next 10 years when elections happen in Caddo Parish. That is based on documentation that we got from the clerk of court's office and from the registered voters. Currently, when the 2020 presidential elections happened, there were 149 precincts, 409 vote machines, and 725 commissioners' use. I don't know if you knew it or not, that Election Day is a big enterprise that's coordinated and run by the clerk of court. And those there, they do an excellent job in performing the tasks of elections that we may take for granted. I want to make sure that even Mr. Mike gets it. With this redistricting plan, 8 precincts were added, splits, that your plan AA-1 did. So when it comes down to, for the upcoming election, with the current 149 precincts, adding on to the 8 splits that you did, you have 1 precinct with no voters, which is 55A, which is the lake that's now in District 5. You will have 156 precincts. It would take 423 vote machines, an estimated of 750 commissioners. What the precinct merge plan does everybody have the handout? Okay, make sure, Jeff, could you make sure that Mr. Spence get it, a handout, or you did, or you didn't have?
I made them for the commissioners. I'm sorry. I'll go.
Yeah, please, thank you.
Please continue.
Okay, thank you. With the plan that you adopted, you will now have 156 precincts, 423 machines, and 750 commissioners. With this precinct merge
plan, it would be reduced down to 128 precincts, roughly 28 less precincts, will go down to 405 machines, 18 machines less, and also down 71 commissioners, down to 679. So that's an 18% decrease in precincts, 4% decrease in machines, and 9% decrease in commissioners. My company, Data Center, has experience when it comes down to mergers and consolidations. We've been doing that since the 1980 census. And the first plan we did was back in 1987 with changing the St. Bernard Parish Police Jury to the St. Bernard Parish Council. So, and we have done it every census release since that time. Mike, you got it, Mike? You have it? Do you have a copy of it? Okay, good. Thank you. So when it comes down to elections in Caddo, on election day, you have close to 1,000 people working to administer and operate elections. 725 commissioners, 80 polling place site custodians, vote machines transporters, governmental partners who transport the election results, staff of the clerk of court who troubleshoot all day, staff of the registered voters, and the parish election board of supervisors. Let me explain on the second sheet as to the reason why precinct mergers. In 20 years in Caddo Parish, the parish has lost 14,313 people. No precinct reduction. And in 10 years from 2010 to 2020, the next page is how many people was reduced from each Caddo Commission district. District 1, 1,267, District 2, 2,499, and on down the list. It was only 2 commission districts that gained population from 2010 to 2020, which was District 9, 3,117, and District 10, 110. That's the third column going down. So with that, each district lost population, so there should be a reasonable reduction in the number of precincts because the people either moved to District 10 or District 9. So that is why it's time to merge precincts. And I say that to say state law provides that once state representatives, state senators, Betsy, PSC, and congressional redistrict, and the school board, then the law allows for this commission to review your precincts for compliance with state law. And that is that you shouldn't have a precinct with less than 300 voters. You currently have 8. Precinct 28, 45B, 83A, 111B, 145, 151, 154, and 155.
Mr. Floyd, we're reaching the end of your comment time. Could you?
Okay, I didn't know. I thought I was, maybe I should have spoke when the ordinance had come up then.
Well,
so it was
just do your best to wrap it up.
okay. Okay. Well, I wanted to make sure it was explained. Okay. 2 precincts more than 2,200 voters. Precinct 122 and precinct 128. So what we did is use the standard of 1,500 voters at the presidential election of 2020 as a standard of that's the maximum number as we merged the precincts. So what we did is we went from north to south, west to east. If you were in the same state rep, state senate, school board, commission district, we were able to merge the precincts to to be consistent with that standard. And few polling place changes took place in this, this plan. So other parishes do it, and like I say, I worked with, at least we worked with, my wife and I worked with the clerk of court and the registered voters to come up with a plan that's going to make it more convenient to vote and for elections to be efficiently run. And it's a stress when it comes down to the number of vote machines, so it's going to be a reduction in vote machines and reduction in commissioners. And I'll answer any questions. And I know, thank Mr. Spence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Floyd. Mr. Hopkins has a question. Commissioner Hopkins, or maybe it's a question.
Still, I've gone over through this on my district. For the most part, I'm still concerned about where we combine small town with, because they've always been like 157 and 139. One was out, one was in.
Mm-hmm.
So, change that, how are we gonna guarantee that we say 1-6, someone outside not getting votes inside?
Well,
What are the mechanisms to protect that?
well, you're going to have, the only time that's going to happen if you have municipal elections and you have some lockouts. Other than that, everybody comes. They already come into the same polling place. So they're there. So it's going to be one table instead of two tables. And the only time you have a breakout, if you have a municipal election, you have elections at that time. And did talk to over Mr. Spence. He lives in and understand everything, so he could further answer that. But he was very comfortable, and the registered voters with the same polling place. We just have one precinct, so there's going to be savings, because when you have 150 voters and when you have 4 commissioners, it's really nothing to do just about all day. You know, sometimes you have 80 people to turn out, and you have 3 vote machines, and it's a waste of tax dollars. So all we're doing is at the same polling place, and we just combine it in and out, and it's going to facilitate voting. Okay.
I don't have a problem streamlining. Definitely don't have a problem trying to save money. Just want to make sure we don't put a burden on to our citizens. And I'm glad we're not doing this during this election. At least gives us some time to get some education material out there and move forward to be attracted to this. I think there's no problem.
Also, let me just state that when it comes down to precinct numbering, I'll use the even number, District 2, 4, 6, and 8. When it comes down to District 2, the numbering system now is District 2 has precinct 1, 39, 45A, 57, 71, 73, 71, 74, 81, 103, 111A, 135, 137. So it's no numbering system or ID for that district. This will be 21, 22, 23, and you know it's Commission District 2. So it's no numbering system. Maybe it was during the police jury, but since that time when you've had to add precincts, then even when it comes on to District 4, you have precinct 9, 12, 13, 16, 17, skip to 20, 21, 22, skip to 48, 129. The same thing with 6, same thing with 8 throughout. You don't have any consistency. And when voters go to vote at a polling place, they are confused as to, you can't say, hey, you're in Commission District 12, 12-1, 12-2, 12-3, and you are now having several precincts voting at the same polling place, and there's always confusion. So this will be bring clarity to the people who administer in the elections. And like I said, I've talked to several times, at least 4 times, with the clerk and with the registrar. And they feel that this plan would be make more convenient to vote and to administer the election with about 1,000 people in the workforce working on election day to make sure every vote is counted. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Spence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Floyd. Commissioner Atkins, do you have a question for Mr. Floyd or Mr. Spence? Okay, great. Welcome, Clerk of Court Mike Spence.
Hello, everyone. Yes, sir.
So moving forward, do I understand, I'm looking at Caddo Parish 2023 merged precinct table. This one here. Do you have that?
Vertical table.
Last page. Yes, sir.
It's always the last one, isn't it?
Yes.
So we're going to go from the column labeled current precincts to the column labeled merged precincts. Is that what we're going to be doing?
That's correct.
Okay, so we will be sending out cards to each voter, telling them what their new precinct name is. Is that correct?
My discussions with Mr. Sibley is instead of sending a card, we're going to send letters.
Okay.
That can be letters from the individual commissioners, along with Mr. Sibley and myself, that would better tell them what happened instead of a card that they might discard.
Well, I've just found that, I keep that card for future elections, so how will we know that they'll keep that letter? Are they?
Well, they'll also get the card.
Okay, they'll get a card and a letter. Okay,
Yes.
great. All the better. And when did we decide this would go into effect? What election will this go into effect?
Presidential preference.
Okay. All right, not until then.
Right.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Spence, and thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. There are no other questions? Thank you, Mr. Clark. Okay, so I think that's everyone who wanted to speak. Public hearing is now closed.
Okay, that brings us then, you have no zoning ordinances for final passage today. And under ordinances for final passage, you had two. One of those has been postponed. So the next item is the item that you just closed your public hearing for, and that is ordinance 6342 of 2023.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Johnson, second from Commissioner Jones. Great. So I agree. I just want to say one thing that Commissioner Gage Watts asked me to say for her before she left. She wanted us to be sure that we have clear signage identifying precincts to be clearly posted at each voting location so that that can be a guide and a reminder to citizens.
You repeat that for me, sir?
Yes, Commissioner Gage Watts wants us to be sure to have clear signage identifying precincts that will be clearly posted at each voting location so that we can, remind people. It'll be a change. Okay, thank you. I think we're ready to vote on this.
Okay, and that motion carries with 9 in support, none in opposition, and 3 absent. So that brings us now to, we have no zoning ordinances for introduction by title today, but we do have ordinances for introduction by title. There are 2 items. The first is the introduction of ordinance 6345 of 2023. That's an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the oil and gas fund to provide air conditioning to Caddo citizens and otherwise provide with respect thereto. And that ordinance was amended during your Monday meeting. The version that is attached is as amended, if anybody would like to review that. The next item is the introduction of ordinance number 6346 of 2023. That's an ordinance declaring the intent of the parish under Louisiana Revised Statutes 47, 2020, 2236 to acquire full ownership interest in 6 parcels, namely Lot 33 and the west 5 feet of Lot 34 of Block C, Highland Park subdivision, the east 30 feet of Lot 35 and the west 15 feet of Lot 36, Block C, Highland Park subdivision, the east 20 feet of Lot 37 and west 25 feet of Lot 38 of Block C, Highland Park subdivision, Lot 32, Block C of Highland Park subdivision, the east 35 feet of Lot 34 and the west 10 feet of Lot 35 in Block C, Highland Park subdivision, Lot 30, Block C, Highland Park subdivision, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Okay.
Then that brings us now to work session minutes for adoption. You have attached a copy of your work session minutes.
Okay, I
for
have a
the-
motion from Commissioner Jones, second by myself.
There we go.
All right, that motion carries with 9 in support, none in opposition, and 3 absent. That brings us to resolutions. You have a few resolutions before you today. The first item is Resolution Number 36 of 2023. That's a resolution to authorize the Caddo Parish
From Commissioner
Administrator.
Atkins.
Yes, sir. I'd like to make a motion that we englobo Resolution 36 and 37 and approve both Resolution 36 and 37.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Jones. Do you wish to speak on your motion?
No.
Let's vote.
That motion carries with 9 in support, none in opposition, and 3 absent. That brings us now to Resolution 38 of 2023. This is a resolution of the Caddo Parish Commission, State of Louisiana, approving the Caddo Parish Fire District Number 3
Motion
of
from
the
Commissioner
Parish of Caddo.
Jones and second from Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we englobo Resolution 38 and 39 and 41.
Okay, that's seconded by Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Epperson wishes to speak. Oh, okay, great. All right, let's vote. Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And that is a motion for clarification, that is a motion to englobo and adopt 38, resolutions 38, 39, and 41. Okay, that motion passes with 9 in support, none in opposition. That brings us to Resolution 40 of 2023. That's a resolution urging and requesting the United States
I
Congress
have a
to
motion
enact.
from the chair, seconded by Commissioner Chavez. Any discussion? Let's vote.
Commissioner Johnson, it looks like, there we go. And that motion carries with 8 in support, none in opposition, and 4 absent. That brings us now,
I think we're now at communiques and committee reports again.
correct?
Okay, anyone else wish to speak? Okay, no one else wishes to speak. Any motion to adjourn? Oh,
We ha-
Commissioner Epperson, do you wish to speak again? Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, Ms. Bryant, could you ask Prolet GE if they could, send us a report as to the participants' zip code and the job fair that they held? You know, we did same, remember when, Biomed was requesting funding, and talking about the jobs they gonna create? That's them, we don't wanna know those names, if they could do a query by zip code.
No.
I think I saw, something on Facebook that job fair was so successful that they weren't going to hold the subsequent one that they had stated, in the fall, in Caddo Parish. And, we'll ask SLB if they would do the same. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Commissioner Jones?
Do we have any citizens' comments? Move to adjourn.
There are none.
Oh, I didn't see you pop up. My apologies.
Commissioner Johnson,
Thought
would
we were
you,
done talking.
do you want to speak off the record?
I want to piggyback off of Commissioner Epperson on SLB, since that job fair will be on the 15th of August. Could they give us a listing of the jobs that will be at the job fair? So that way we can get it out to our constituents, and some people won't waste their time going down there if they don't fit any of those job descriptions.
Yes, sir. The email that I forwarded to you all has a career link as well as a link to the information about the job fair.
I can't hear you.
The email I forwarded to you all with the links related to the job fair has a career link and a link to the job fair information. So that link should be able to show you what jobs. If not, if you need additional, then we'll make that request.
Okay. I'm gonna pull it up now. Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, we're adjourned.
You too.